A Fox is
So it's not that
informative.
far away at all. So tell us about this summit and what it's all, what it's all about.
Yes, so it's called the Trailblazer Business Summit, and it's my business anniversary event. So I started my business in
Oh,
April, and I host this event every April because it's my way of giving back to my entrepreneur community. Because I speak and I invite my speaker friends to join me and talk about, all the things that entrepreneurs care about and want to know about and need to know about in order to level up and grow their businesses. So it's going to be April the 23rd, and that's next week. So
yes,
it's on
yes.
Saturday, and it's going to be 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to break at 12 for lunch. So it's only going to be 4 hours of content, but it's going to be 4 hours of jam packed content that's going to help you move the needle in your business, increase your revenue, and level up. So, our theme this year is connect, innovate, dominate. And I feel like connecting more so than ever before is important to entrepreneurs because the pandemic changed how we did business and you were forced to connect with more people online. Well, I think we're still living in that because
Yes.
we are still forced to connect with people online and offline. And so building your connections and building your network has always been critical to success. And so I believe that's important. And innovating is so important because I can't tell you how many new things I see online every single day. So where's your new thing? What are you creating? What are you innovating? And whatever it is, you have to be on the cusp of the trends and things that are happening. We can't sit back on our laurels and think that everything is going to just fall into our laps. We have to innovate and create new things. And then dominating. Dominating is all about being the best in your industry and being seen as a subject matter expert. And how do you do that? You got to get out there, put your brand out there, put yourself out there, share valuable content, and understand that people are going to be searching for someone like you in your industry. The question is, are you dominating so that when they search, they find you? And so that's what we're going to be talking about at the Trailblazer Business Summit. I've got speakers coming to talk about six-figure social media strategies, blockchain and cryptocurrency, which is something a lot of people don't know much about, and
Yes.
how you can adjust to that and use it in business. We're going to talk about book publishing. We're going to talk about how to use that first book or that second book or next book to really grow your business. Then we're going to talk about smart investing and budgeting. Then we're going to talk about marketing and how to monetize your marketing messages. We're going to talk about insurance and making sure your business is covered because
Yes.
OMG, a lot of people forget that part. And then we're
Yes.
going to talk about, productivity and elevating in automation and systems, and then just how to be a well-rounded entrepreneur. So it's going to be amazing. And I'm excited. So you guys are invited. All you have to do is go to qualitymediaconsultants.com on the events page and get tickets.
Tune in to the Angela Foxworth Show. Live outside the box.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, A Fox of the Angela Foxworth Show. That's right. We are back. I am so excited to be with you guys today. You know that it has been a long time coming, and I am so excited to be back in the house. And we're starting off with a bang, okay? I'm not even playing the radio this time. I said that when I rebranded officially, we were going to come with that power, and we got it. So, the whole purpose of the Angela Foxworth Show is to motivate, it is to educate, and it is to inspire. And the guest that I have today is going to do just that. So, I am excited to have this trailblazer, okay, on the line with me today. I'm excited. Her name is Lori A. Mance. And if you don't know, you will know. Okay. How are you today, Miss Lori?
I am excellent. How are you, Miss Angela?
I am wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Listen, your expertise in this field is why I am so excited for you to be on the show, because when someone watches it, I really want them to get a lot of value out of this. So, first of all, I want you to tell everybody, because I call you the trailblazer, but I would like you to tell them why you are that and what it is you do.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Lori A. Mans, and I am president and founder of Quality Media Consulting Group. And I consider myself a trailblazer because I come from a family of educators and entrepreneurs. And because of that, my grandfather was considered a trailblazer because he helped to integrate schools in Middle Tennessee. And he also was a preacher, and he did a lot of things that were considered very trailblazing in his time. And I just believe that when you come from a family of people who pioneer different things from business to community, I just believe that it's in your blood. And so for me, I started my career in corporate America, but I became an accidental entrepreneur by getting downsized. And I decided that I wanted to be in charge of my destiny, and I wanted to be in charge of my future, as well as my income, impact, and influence. And so I figured that if I did that, I would have to be an entrepreneur and start a business. And so I did that in 2009, and I blazed the trail for anybody coming behind me. I don't have children, but I have nieces and nephews and godkids and a host of mentees. And I wanted to just let those people in the next generation know that if you choose not to work in corporate America, then you can chart your own path, you can blaze your own trail, start your own business, and be in charge of your future, because it's yours and it's your destiny. And I believe it's also your birthright.
I love that. I love that. So listen, you gave me so many nuggets to pull from. I don't even know where to start, but I want to go back to the beginning because I absolutely love to hear why you felt like this was the arena for you. And you actually said you accidentally, got into that because of being laid off from corporate America. But when you were younger, before any of the corporate America, before, any of the entrepreneurship, was that what you always set out to do, or what was your initial dream?
Well, my initial dream was being like Barbara Walters and Carol Simpson.
Love it.
And I wanted to be a news anchor.
Me too. Love it. And I too wanted to be Barbara Walters.
Yeah, well, I really wanted to be Carol Simpson because she was African American.
Yes.
Yes. And I was inspired by both of them. So because I saw Carol and I saw Barbara, I wanted to be that because I was always intrigued with the news, and I was always intrigued with the people telling the news. And then when I went to school for journalism and mass communications, and I got out and I started trying to get jobs in that field, I realized that they don't make a lot of money and to start out with. That was then. That was in the 80s. And so it turned me off from that industry. And then I decided, well, you know what? I don't want to change industries. I just want to pivot. And so I got into sales. The sales and marketing, I found out, was where you could still be in the media industry like I wanted to be, but you had a different role, and your role was your task with selling the product and building relationships with people in the community. And so I realized that that was more my strong suit, and I just shift gears.
I love that. I love that. And so you had so much success, with what you did as a salesperson and, being in that industry, being able to build the community networking that you were able to do. Okay. And so then, we hit the being laid off. So at that particular time, what was your mindset? And the reason I'm taking our audience on this journey is because so many people have lived this, and then they either hit a snag, or they don't move forward, or they take this, a lot of times we're in jobs that we feel like validate us, right? So we will literally take that rejection and never go forward into huge success, or feel like it's just not for us. So at that particular time, how were you able to handle that?
Well, anytime you're downsized, and the positive was that I was paid to leave the company.
Okay.
The negative was that it was only because of personnel issues, meaning that I did not get along with the then manager at the time. And so
Okay.
it was always strategic, I felt, just to put me in a corporate downsizing to get rid of me. And so because of the way that it happened, I had to do a lot of prayer, and I had to do a lot of meditation, and I had to do a lot of healing, because it was unfair and unjust, because I was performing at the top of my game, making more money than I ever had. And I was one of the best whoever did it, as far as I'm concerned. And so,
Yes.
and my numbers actually spoke for themselves. So I was doing very well. And so when you downsize somebody who's performing well, you have to come up with something, right? So if anybody is out there in corporate America and you have conflict personality issues with your superior or the person you report to, it's one of those things where you have to deal with it the best you can, or look for another job. And so I was of the mindset then, I'm not letting somebody push me out of a company. I was here first, but the thing of it is, when you're an employee, you can either be like, you can be hired, you can be fired. And even though I wasn't fired, I was downsized and paid to leave, but it still felt like a separation that I wasn't prepared for. And the crazy thing about it was that I had typed up resignation letters 2 years in a row prior to being downsized. And it was because I wanted to start my own business, but I was too afraid. And so fear had grappled me in terms of keeping me from doing what I wanted to do. So God just pretty much pushed me out and said, hey, I want you to go out here, and I'm going to make it easy for you to go, because I'm going to shut this door. And so I felt like, okay, he's shutting this door. Where am I going to go now? So back then, I didn't handle it in a way that was quick or fast. I handled it the best I could, but the only way I was able to get through it was through prayer and meditation, and talking to my parents who helped me through that time, and talking to friends, because one of the things I knew about myself is that I was destined for more. And I knew I was supposed to be doing more to help people and to build my community. I just didn't know how. And so shortly after that, I started my company, and then I started a nonprofit, and then it all started to come into view as to what I was supposed to be doing.
I absolutely love that. Let me just tell you though, we have so many similarities. It is not even funny. So the same thing happened to me. And I used to think in corporate America that, things like this just can't happen to somebody, who is not well known. I mean, I had just started doing what I do now on the side, but I still worked for the company, and I absolutely loved what I did. I wasn't even trying to leave. And then 2 years prior to me finally getting fed up, I heard from God to say, go ahead and move. And fear wouldn't let me move either. I just kept saying, oh, I just don't have the tools. Oh, I didn't finish this. Oh, I didn't do that. I made excuses. And then it became 2 years of in an unbearable situation. And then I ended up switching to a manager who was so threatened by what I did on the outside, because the outside started growing, that they were kind of like in the mindset of, I'm going to put her in her place, and I'm going to do this. So I felt like they forced me to resign, because at the time I had too much pride to allow them, because everybody was like, just get fired, just get fired. But I thought the same thing, like, there is so much injustice here. It's so not right. They know that I know this job inside out. I do it better than they do. I wasn't trying to be any kind of manager or anything like that. So to feel threatened by that was such an issue, but it just made them so mad that every day I would come in and they couldn't steal my joy. And so the day that I finally left, right, I was shaking. I had I kept praying about it. And I knew I heard it's time to go. So right before I was going to leave, because I was very popular in the place, I was going to write this big, profound, message to put them in their place and everything. And Lori, let me tell you, God was like, just say bye.
Just say bye. Deuces.
And be done with it. I wrote that. I was shaking when I typed up, I'm resigning. All I said was, I'm resigning. This is my last date. And when I hit send, it almost felt like a relief. It was like, even though I still didn't have a sense, I had just made sure I got my bonus before I left, but I really was like, where do I go from here? Because I didn't have the mentorship. I come from a family, they're like, listen, you better have a job and you better retire. And that's the end of all of that. So to live anything outside of that was like, I'm the black sheep of the family. Like, I'm the only one that felt like there has to be more. So I love that you said that. And for somebody out there, it is true. There is more. You just have to believe in yourself enough to do it. And you kind of not have, you got to get to a point where you're not scared to fail. And I hate that word fail, because I don't feel like failing. To me, it's just for you to get ready to transition into something different. You're not really failing. You're just going to find the formula until you find the one that works for you. And failing is just not even doing anything when you know you're destined for something greater, or bigger than what you're doing at this time. So to not operate in that, to me, is where the failure is. So once you got out there and you decided this is what I'm doing, how did you know that you knew this was it?
Well, it's because trial and error, and
I love it.
The other thing was just having peace, right?
Amen.
So I think at any point in our lives when we have peace about something, then it is an indication that it's the right thing to do. Now, I'm not saying that you never have fear or you never have trepidation or you're never confused. I was afraid. Yes. I was, confused. I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know what I didn't know, but I had peace that I would figure it out and that I would get around some people, because I was always a networker. I'm a people person. Yes. So I knew I would eventually get around some people and learn something and, figure out something. So it was just, having peace that, this is what I want to do. I want to start my own business. I want to grow my own business, and just trial and error, and I'm one of those people, I don't mind the word failure, because I failed a lot and I still fail. And I think building your failure muscle is like building your faith muscle, because every time you fail, it's an opportunity for you to activate your faith and create a new plan and create something else to do instead. And it's just information, I don't look at failure as final. I look at it as an opportunity for me to keep learning and getting better. And so I just had the peace, and I just realized that nobody can manage me better than me. So I was like, let me just try to manage Lori. Let me just try to manage, my own lifestyle and manage this company and put myself out there. And the only thing that was hard for me was putting myself out there. And somebody who came from the media industry, you would think it wasn't, but it was so difficult for me because even though I'm an extrovert, I'm also an introvert. And so because of that reason, I'm a complex person, I think. Because I'm private, but public. And so I was like, I don't want to put myself out there. There's crazy people in the world. But I had to let go of that angst and anxiety and fear about putting myself out there. So once I got over that, it was like full steam ahead. Here I am.
I love it. I love it. And let me just tell you, it is amazing that there are so many people who have like public dreams, but they are secretly, because I'm the same way. I absolutely love getting on the mic and talking to you and delving into what really makes people who they are. But if we were to go to a networking session, I'm the person that sits in the back because I'm very shy. And like, it's hard for me to come up to somebody as bubbly as I am. I never start a conversation. I've had to learn to do that as I've been in this industry because if you sit in the corner, you may not get what you're looking for. And I realize that, but it has been so hard. That is like outside of my comfort zone. And every time I'm about to get ready to do something, I'm equally as nervous. I think what happens is I just feel so connected to stories of people who, go against the grain and they decide to push past whatever it is they were feeling to live these impossible, what people think are impossible dreams. And I absolutely love that. And so we're hearing now, what do you do, full circle, and what is it that you want, your client or your customers to take out of what it is you do?
Well, I am a business strategist and sales coach, and
Okay.
that's what I lead with. So I lead with helping people grow and scale their businesses and getting to a point where they are comfortable selling themselves and selling their products and services. And what I run across when I started to institute coaching in my business, it was by accident, like a lot of things that happened to me, because as I started to put myself out there and put my company out there and build myself as a speaker and as a strategist, I started getting people asking me questions. And at first it was like, oh, they asking me questions. I must be smart. It is like, oh, somebody wants to take me to lunch and pick my brain. And I did that for a couple years until I figured out I'm giving away free advice and I ain't making no money. And this is why people who become business coaches could help somebody like me back then, because we're going about it the whole wrong way. But when I finally hired a business coach and got some advice, it was like, create a program, create a training, create an online course, create these things so you can say, oh, no, you don't need to take me to lunch and pick my brain. If you have questions, go to my website and here's a course that you can download. Or I'll host a free webinar and then you can learn more about my services that way. And so I started declining all these lunches where people wanted to pick my brain, and I started to create programs. And so being someone who, has a media background and, has an advertising background. So when you have that media background, marketing, advertising, sales, and, branding. And so I combined all of that. And I was like, these are the things that I can help people with in my business. And I'm just happy to do it, because marketing, advertising, and sales are the things that, that's the trifecta in any business, really. And so it is one of those things where I knew that if I was struggling, trying to get that branding done for myself and my business, that other people would be struggling with, how do I brand myself? How do I create my marketing strategy? How do I do this? How do I do that? And so that's how the coaching part of my business started. But when I started my business initially, and it still is today, it's a media agency. So that media agency, we plan media for our corporate clients, and we buy media for them, and we handle their media and marketing campaigns. So on the coaching side, I work with entrepreneurs and small business owners to help them, grow and scale their businesses with advertising, marketing, and sales concepts and solutions.
That is so awesome, because I think people negate that part of it. I think people, they jump out, they have this idea, and then they roll with it, but they forget, unless someone sees it, which is your marketing and advertising piece, it's just an idea. It doesn't actually go anywhere if you don't have the visibility that you need in order to make that happen. And I would like you to give some advice just to somebody out there who is just kind of stuck. They really want to move forward. What would you tell them to encourage them to just pursue it, try it, and go for it?
So I want to tell you that if you feel like you are destined to be an entrepreneur and you feel like it's your calling because you have this gift, right? You have this gift, you have this skill, you have these capabilities, but you also have a passion for it. I want you to be encouraged, and never let anyone discourage you from pursuing your goals and dreams. And realize that it's not going to be easy. Success is not going to happen overnight. Many entrepreneurs start and it's their 5th year in business, or their 7th year or 10th year that they get to where they're trying to go. Well, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get there. It's just meaning that it's going to take time. So you have to be diligent. You have to get around the right people, formulate network communities, get a business coach, get a mentor, get people around you who are already where you want to be so you can get there faster, because it's possible to get there faster, but you can't do it alone. And so many times entrepreneurs start businesses and they think, oh, I can figure this out because I worked in corporate America. No, 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 no. Entrepreneurship is not like corporate America at all. So be encouraged, operate in faith, and also have a plan, right? Because you cannot grow without a plan. And then, of course, get those mentors and the business coaches that you can, tap into, because they've got a recipe for you. They can show you how to get there faster and what not to do so you don't make costly mistakes.
I love that. I absolutely love it. And a plan is key. I tell you what, when I jumped into this, I did not have a plan. Most of everything I've learned, I left my job in January 11th, 2019. And I have had to do trial and error. I probably made more mistakes than the law would allow to get to where I'm at today. Now, I am thankful for it. But if I can help to, channel that to make it easier for somebody else, I definitely do that. And so planning is truly the key. Don't just jump out there. When you're ready, check out all your bullet points and make sure that you're trying to, live according to that. And I always tell people, being an entrepreneur, it is definitely different than what I thought it was going to be. In my head, when I left, I felt like, do you remember the movie Jerry Maguire?
Yes.
Okay, so you remember when he took the fish and he was getting ready to let them know, and he's like, the fish are going with me. So I had the fish are going with me moment, right? I'm all Jerry Maguire. So when I got home, I'm looking like, what am I gonna do? And right. I did my crying and like, okay, Lord, I listened to you. So after the pity party, then actually getting into it. But one thing I have realized that I did not realize in corporate America is when you're an entrepreneur and you don't have that steady check coming in every 2 weeks or whatever your salary days are, you've got to have something in place so that you can have that to balance it out. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, I tell people, don't start a business unless you have a year of savings. A lot of people say 6 months. I say a year, because it's going to take you that whole year. For most people, okay, there are a few exceptions, but for most people, it's going to take you a full year to figure out what you're doing and figure out how to build a profitable business model and how to create some products and packages and services so that you can get paid. Because if you don't have a plan for how you're going to make money, then you're going to spend that whole first year trying to figure that out. And so that's why you need to have that money stacked before you make a move. And so you have that year to fall back on. And so you can figure it out and you're not stressed and worried, because a lot of people jump into entrepreneurship and then they got to go get a part-time job.
Yeah.
Or they got to go, get another job.
I had to take a couple of projects, and even though they weren't jobs, it was still like, you're still using the same amount of time that you would have had on a 9 to 5. It's just that the project may not last as long. I got blessed one time with like a $10,000 project, right? And I was like, oh my God, I'm rich. Became an entrepreneur. I'm looking like, by the time the few months came up and that money was depleting, I'm like, wait a minute, I need something else. So, yes, that is the biggest misconception, is that money's just gonna come out of the sky once you decide to make this move. No, I definitely agree with you. A good year of just solid income. And when I say a year, I'm talking about make it comparable to whatever you was making that year, in a job. try to make it as comparable to that as possible so that you know you're actually okay during those times, and then just grind in that year to make sure you are, getting exactly where you need to be. I absolutely love it. So listen, you have a trailblazing summit coming on August the 23rd. That's not that far away. And so tell us about that summit.
Well, actually, it's April.
April. I'm sorry. Did I say August? I'm sorry. April.
Yeah.
April. That's what I meant. But
Yeah.
so it's not that far away at all. So tell us about this summit and what it's all about.
Yeah, so it's called the Trailblazer Business Summit, and it's my business anniversary event. So I started my business in April, and I host this event every April because it's my way of giving back to my entrepreneur community, because I speak and I invite my speaker friends to join me and talk about, all the things that entrepreneurs care about and want to know about and need to know about in order to level up and grow their businesses. So it's going to be April the 23rd, and that's next week. So it's on Saturday, and it's going to be 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to break at 12 for lunch. So it's only going to be 4 hours of content, but it's going to be 4 hours of jam-packed content that's going to help you move the needle in your business, increase your revenue, and level up. So our theme this year is connect, innovate, dominate. And I feel like connecting more so than ever before is important to entrepreneurs, because the pandemic changed how we did business and you were forced to connect with more people online. Well, I think we're still living in that, because we are still forced to connect with people online and offline. And so building your connections and building your network has always been critical to success. And so I believe that's important. And innovating is so important, because I can't tell you how many new things I see online every single day. So where's your new thing? What are you creating? What are you innovating? And whatever it is, you have to be on the cusp of the trends and things that are happening. We can't sit back on our laurels and think that everything is going to just fall into our laps. We have to innovate and create new things. And then dominating. Dominating is all about being the best in your industry and being seen as a subject matter expert. And how do you do that? You got to get out there, put your brand out there, put yourself out there, share valuable content, and understand that people are going to be searching for someone like you in your industry. The question is, are you dominating so that when they search, they find you? And so that's what we're going to be talking about at the Trailblazer Business Summit. I've got speakers coming to talk about 6-figure social media strategies, blockchain and cryptocurrency, which is something a lot of people don't know much about, and how you can adjust to that and use it in business. We're going to talk about book publishing. We're going to talk about how to use that first book or that second book or next book to really grow your business. Then we're going to talk about smart investing and budgeting. Then we're going to talk about marketing and how to monetize your marketing messages. We're going to talk about insurance and making sure your business is covered, because OMG, a lot of people forget that part. And then we're going to talk about, productivity and elevating in automation and systems, and then just how to be a well-rounded entrepreneur. So it's going to be amazing. And I'm excited. So you guys are invited. All you have to do is go to qualitymediaconsultants.com on the events page and get tickets.
I love it. That is awesome. And I'm just so excited for you. And one more thing before I let you go, you have been blessed to be an entrepreneur for now a decade. Okay, which is so exciting. What do you attribute to that?
I say just being an entrepreneur for these last 13 years has been perseverance, because there were many times when I felt like giving up and giving in. And there were many times when I wasn't sure I could make it, because entrepreneurship is a journey. It is not a sprint. Entrepreneurship is lonely, especially if you work from home. Entrepreneurship is challenging because you have to wear a lot of hats until you can afford to hire and outsource. And so I just attribute my longevity as an entrepreneur to having faith in God, having perseverance, and the tenacity and the will to succeed. against all odds. And that's something that has really served me well. And it was early on in my entrepreneurial journey. I actually won a award for succeeding as an entrepreneur against all odds.
I love it. Love it.
So it's just been, to me, you have to just make up in your mind that you're going to do what it takes. And like I say, fail forward. I forget who came up with that, but you got to fail forward because it's okay to make mistakes. And just like I say, always have a plan. Where are you trying to go? What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? And when you have goals, you always need to have benchmarks. What is going to be your marker of success? How are you going to measure your success? And then figure out how are you going to reverse engineer every goal that you have. Look at it and figure out what are the steps I'm going to take. And so that's something that I've always done in my entrepreneurial journey, and that has served me well. So that's what I would say.
Well, I thank you so much, Lori A. Mans. It has been an absolute honor. I thank you so much for being a part of the Angela Foxworth Show and starting off this new rebranded season that I am just super ecstatic about. Like, this is it for me as far as what I would love for my audience to get out of what we're doing. And I know that they got a lot. So I know that they're going to be encouraged. And you guys do not forget that Trailblazing Business Summit, which is going to be April the 23rd. So listen, get ready. I'm just excited about it. And so again, thank you guys for tuning in. We are done. We had Lori A. Mans on the show. We're so excited about that. And you guys know that you can reach out to me at any time on Instagram. I'm at A Fox Radio or The Real A Fox. Also on Facebook, you know, you can reach out to me, The Angela Foxworth Show, and also my website, www.theafoxshow.com. And just so everybody knows, this is going to be on every major streaming platform out there. We're going to be on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, you name it, we're going to be on it, and we're excited about it. So you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. And remember, life with a fox is living outside the box, and I'm always interviewing with a purpose. You guys have an absolutely wonderful evening. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Lori.
Living outside the box. A fox. Living outside the box with a fox. Living outside the box. A fox. Living outside the box with a fox. Living outside the box. A fox. Living outside the box with a fox. Living outside the box. Yeah. Living outside the box.
Yeah. The show is right where you wanna be. Bringing in new topics just for you and me. You see we motivate and educate when we speak. A Fox is quite the anomaly. So follow me as we meet people, reach people, teach people. Black lives matter cause we all equal. Yeah, live your life cause it matters. It's A Fox serving life on a platter.
Living outside the box. Living outside the box with A Fox. Living outside the box.
A Fox.
Living outside the box. A Fox. Living outside the box.
A Fox.
Living outside the box.
A Fox.
Living outside the box.
A Fox.
Living outside the box.